Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Hedera shines light on the future of Metaverse Identity in pioneering report. Okay, let's get into this. So, let's talk about the Metaverse just for a quick second. In my opinion, I know that, when the Metaverse came in, it was really being proposed to be like the next big thing, and it's not really lived up to the expectations as of yet. But I'll be honest with you, I still think the Metaverse will be huge in the future. I just think it's one of those things where it hasn't taken off right now because it is still something that's very new and it's something that people still have to really get their head around. But in the future, can I see the Metaverse being huge? Yeah, I think it's just a thing of it's just not really caught on properly yet. And Meta, who was formerly Facebook, they changed their name to Meta. Like, that's how serious they are about the Metaverse. And, they're piling money after money into the Metaverse. Like, I believe they lost like billions before, just trying to like really take it off the ground. So to me, I don't think that this is something that they're going to give up on because they have a vision for it, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not just the fact that they've spent so much money, because I think after a while you do have to accept if something's just not going to work, you do have to kind of count your losses and move on before it, like bankrupts you or something. But I'll just be real with you guys. I can see the Metaverse taking off at some point. Like, although it's not really taking off now, in the future, can I see it really, doing well? Yeah, like at some point I think it will. It's just how technology moves, guys. Like, if you just think about virtual reality, headsets and stuff like that, it's just the next step. So I can easily see like people who are gamers, if they really want to get immersed into like a new world when they're playing games, wearing the headset, right? Like going into that kind of VR world. So I can easily see it taking off. I really think it's just something that just needs more time, but eventually I think it will play a big part in the future of being a big deal. So to see Hedera involved in this, in my opinion, is good because it's going to help for the network, right? The more that they're involved with the Metaverse, something that could be, massive in the future, the more beneficial it can be for the network because it will be getting recognition and it could be being mass adopted via the Metaverse, right? And this is again what we talk about with mass adoption, because let's just say there is like a Metaverse out there that's utilizing the Hedera network. This is the type of thing where, as I was telling you before, they don't necessarily have to know that they're utilizing the network, right? This is the thing where Hedera can be in the background being utilized, but Hedera could be in the background being utilized, right? But the average person's not aware of that. They might not be crypto savvy, etc., etc. And so they're just utilizing the network and they're not even aware of it. It's in the back, it's in the plumbing, right? So this is what I mean when we're talking about like mass adoption. It's stuff being utilized to a point where the average person doesn't even know that it's being utilized. And so Hedera trying to play a part in the Metaverse for something that, in my opinion, will be big in the future is obviously going to help them going forward. So it's good to see that they are trying to play a part in this. But let's get into the article and then we can discuss this a little bit further. Since its surge into popular culture in 2021, the concept of the Metaverse has captured the imagination of innovators worldwide. While the initial hype may have subsided, this period of relative quiet has not hindered the continuous evolution and development within the Metaverse landscape. Rather, it signifies a transition from unrealistic expectations to practical implementations tailored to meet the diverse needs of users across various scenarios. As startups, institutions, and governments delve deeper into research and development, the Metaverse is poised to transform how we interact with digital and physical realms. Hedera's contribution to Metaverse Identity. In the quest to navigate this blended reality seamlessly, Hedera stands as a key contributor to the disclosure surrounding Metaverse Identity. The recent collaboration between Hedera and the World Economic Forum (WEF) resulted in the publication of the insightful report. Quote, Metaverse Identity, defining the self in a blended reality. Unquote. This report sheds light on the multifaceted nature of identity within the metaverse, emphasizing its role as a cornerstone for privacy and security measures. As the metaverse continues to evolve, the need for a robust and adaptable identity framework becomes increasingly apparent. The WEF report delves into the complexities of metaverse identity, transcending the traditional constructs to encompass a rich tapestry of digital expressions, credentials, and interactions. Unlike conventional forms of identification, metaverse identity extends beyond individual entities to encompass digital representations and entities, each contributing to the intricate web of knowledge within this virtual realm. As individuals navigate the metaverse, their activities, preferences, and interactions serve as data points that collectively form their digital identity, offering profound insights into their virtual personas. Navigating the new frontier of digital identity. In the metaverse, traditional forms of identification undergo a profound transformation, giving rise to novel forms of digital ID tailored to this virtual landscape. From unique avatar designs to body-based attestations and virtual signatures, these digital credentials grant individuals access to a myriad of experiences and services within the metaverse. Moreover, representation in the metaverse extends beyond graphical depictions to encompass societal values and inclusivity, reflecting the human desire for authenticity and connection. As metaverse identity continues to evolve, it brings forth a host of challenges and opportunities. From data privacy concerns to the need for educational resources and digital rights awareness, navigating this new frontier requires collaborative efforts from stakeholders across industries. By leveraging its expertise in digital innovation, Hedera remains at the forefront of shaping the discourse surrounding metaverse identity, advocating for a human-first approach that prioritizes equality, inclusivity, and trust in this emerging digital landscape. Through partnerships with institutions like the World Economic Forum, Hedera reaffirms its commitment to driving positive change and responsible technology adoption in the metaverse era. Okay guys, there you have it. I really like the end there. I really like the end because the thing that really caught my eye with this was the human first approach. And this is why I have to give, Hedera respect here, because they're not just looking at us like, they're not just looking at us like people that can be sold, they're not just looking at us as like walking sellable data. They're trying to make it so our privacy is kept private. They're trying to make it so that it's more for us rather than selling us, like, I don't know if you've ever heard that saying before, but they say something along the lines of, if you ever, get like a product that's for free, the reason why you get the product for free is because you are the product, which basically means that if they're not charging you for the product, then what they're probably doing is taking all of the information that you do on the product itself, and they're selling that information to other people. And so they can obviously do tailored ads to you and, try and find out what your habits are and what they can try and, sell to you, something that might be applicable to what, you're interested in or something along those lines. So trying to keep our privacy, protected, it's an important thing because it's not just about from the aspect of being sold to. If it gets in the wrong hands, we can be deceived, we can be duped, right? We could be led astray in terms of giving up our crypto or something along those lines. So it's also important from that aspect, right? So I like the fact that they're trying to make this a human first approach. I think that's definitely the right way to go about this. But yeah, as I said earlier, guys, I agree with the article here. They're mentioning how, the metaverse hasn't really taken off since the, first talks about it. It hasn't, it did have a lot of promise when it was first coming out, and it hasn't taken off the way I think they would have hoped. But in my opinion, I do think it will take off in the end. That's just my opinion. It might be wrong, but I don't see how it won't, to be honest with you. One, Meta or Facebook, whatever you want to call them, they're putting so much money into it anyway. I think it's just inevitable the way they're just plowing money into it. Like, they just determined to make it succeed. And two, I just think it's something that people are going to want to do in the future. I think it might be a big step right now, but I think eventually it will happen, you know? It's kind of like when you look at like electronic cars, right? Like electronic cars have come in, not everybody's jumped to them, but I think eventually electronic cars will be the normal, right? Like I think, you know, the old school cars of petrol or gas, whatever you guys call it in whatever country you're at, I think it all will be different, you know? I think they will kind of start to let those cars go. So it's just one of those things where when it's such a big change, it don't always just happen overnight. And that's the same for crypto, right? Like when we look at crypto right now, crypto has been around for many years, but it's not really at a point yet where it's like mass adopted, right? Like it's still in its early stages in terms of, you know, the regulations and stuff like that we're waiting for when institutions can come in and properly utilize these cryptos, you know, and they can start, you know, bringing out like custody services and all that kind of stuff. Like we're still waiting for that. And how long has crypto been around now? Like 2008, 2009. So, you know, this stuff really does take time. It's not really something that usually just happens overnight, especially when it's so like revolutionary. Like the metaverse, I will be honest, is revolutionary. Like a lot of people, and this is what I see, and I think this is the scary side of it, to be honest with you, is that I think there might be people who would rather be in the metaverse than be in their own lives, right? It'll be like a form of escapism, you know, because when they're in the metaverse, there might be like someone who's cool and, you know, they've got this great life in the metaverse and stuff like that. And, you know, when they come out of it, they may have, you know, up to their eyeballs in debt and stuff like that. And they might have things going on in their life that's really, you know, stressing them out. So it might be that thing where they just want to go in the metaverse all the time because it's like a different person. It's like they're living a different life. And so they're trying to get that constant escapism. Like that's the part where I think it could be scary, because it's like, what happens when you get so submerged in that world? But that's a story for another day. The point that I'm just making essentially is just that I do think it's going to be successful in the end overall. And so having a company like Hedera playing a part in this in terms of trying to help keep our privacy safe, one, I think it's great because I already know how good Hedera are, as they say, with this kind of subject. So I have trust in what they're going to do. Two, the fact that they've obviously said they're taking it from a human first approach. So I like that. That gives me comfort in knowing that they're doing the right thing. And three, I think the fact that they're actually helping to work with the metaverse, when it does eventually take off, which is what I think will happen in my opinion, I think it will be very beneficial for Hedera, right? The network. So, you know, it could be a thing where Hedera is one of the main networks of choice when you are using the metaverse, which would obviously be absolutely massive for HBAR in the end. So to me, this is all positive stuff. So really great article to see here. And I do think this is good to see in the end. I think it's a positive, and I think this is something that's going to be very beneficial long term. So we will see how things play out. But to me, let me just put it this way. Even if the metaverse doesn't take off, Hedera haven't really lost anything, right? They've not really lost anything significant. So it's not anything that's going to be negative for Hedera. I don't see how that could happen, you know. So to me, overall, I think the positive greatly outweighs the negative, because if the metaverse doesn't do that well, okay, Hedera just continue to work with other companies and, you know, other technology, right? Like AI or something. Like there's still other avenues for them to go with. So in my opinion, I still think the opportunities are there. Like it's not really going to hinder Hedera in any way, but the opportunities for it being positive could be way bigger. So to me, that's what I'm looking at, and that's what I think the overall positive here is, the potential. But what do you guys think? Hedera working with the metaverse. Do you like the sound of this? Are you someone who's interested in using the metaverse? Do you think that this could be good for HBAR's price? Or do you not like the sound of this? Is there anything that you've heard about this that actually gives you any cause for concern? Or do you just not think that this will actually be any good for HBAR's price overall long term? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.